Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or a yes there. Just let me know that it is indeed working. Hope everybody's had a fantastic morning so far. Looking forward to trading with you guys this morning and also recapping the scanner and the new COT data. We've got some cool things to talk about. I made some cool additions last night that we'll be able to discuss, and I'm excited to kind of go over those things. Awesome. Sweet, sweet. Okay, it looks like we're up and running. All right, before we get started, as always, I need to remind you about the risks involved in this market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is, and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. So make sure that you're going through that process each and every time that you take a trade. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and maybe what we'll do is just kind of look at where our trades are, at least the top 6 leverage funds and top 6 commercial shift trades are for the week. They've been kind of all over the place, up and down. This morning, I've noticed we've been up at times and we've been down at times. Just an hour ago, I was up a lot more, and then now I'm down a little bit. So let's just go ahead and put these where they're at. So with the dollar, let's just start here with the dollar yen. This one I am down 32 pips on. This is a long position. My USD CAD is down 23. My New Zealand dollar is down 36. My pound yen is up 30. My pound CAD trade is up 39. My pound Kiwi trade is down 35. And that puts us at, so far, nothing's closed yet. There really hasn't been a lot of volatility. Well, I mean, there's been movement. Like, we've been up, we've been down, and like I said, an hour ago, if you would have asked me, I would have been up on those. Now I'm down 57. So that's where I'm at currently on those trades. Let's go look at the shift trades. Right now, the franc yen is up, or let's see, where am I at here? Let me pull this up here. Exactly zero. Exactly 0 pips. So I'm going to put 0 in there. Aussie yen is up 10. USD yen, I've got minus 36. NZD yen, I'm up 23. Pound yen, I'm up 30. And the euro yen, I'm up 5. Okay, so that's where I'm at with commercial shifts. So commercial shifts doing a little bit better, but basically break even. Nothing's really happened so far this week with these trades. Shifts are up a little bit, leverage funds are down a little bit. So that's where we're at. So yeah, we'll just let those sit and do their thing. For those of you that only trade the weekend trades, that's where we're at. I do want to, I've had a bunch of people ask me, looking for help on taking other trades outside of the weekly shifts, or weekly weekend caught trades, shifts, and leverage funds. So I'd love to help you guys find some other trade opportunities. A lot of that is going to come from the scanner, right? The scanner is what I've built to help you kind of give you a bias with a couple of currency pairs throughout the week. It gives you another set of it's another lens. It gives you sentiment data. You've got COT data in lots of different ways now. So there's a unique logic that goes into the scanner, and we've added some cool things to it even just last night. So I think this would be a good time to, I think this would probably be a good time to kind of introduce that. So let me actually refresh this to see if anything, usually this refreshes on its own, the sentiment data, but I want to go in here and refresh it anyway, just to make sure that we're up to date. So if you haven't come in here since yesterday, you'll see a couple of changes. We added this crowded market indicator, which we'll talk about what that is in just a moment and how that can help you find some additional trade opportunities. We also added this long-term COT signal, which is kind of nice. So this is not just giving you a weekly signal. This is the long-term bias of the big banks. So this one actually looks at non-commercial data, which most people use that to find what the large speculators are doing. So We haven't really used a lot of non-commercial because we've used the commercial data for our shift trades. And the reason why we've done that is because the shift happens to deal with the biggest market. We've talked about this in the COT report webinars. So the actual commercial data deals with the biggest players. Okay, non-commercial is actually not the biggest player, despite what most people think. Commercial is, even though commercial isn't your large specs. It's more of your hedge funds that are managing futures and currencies, but not with the purpose of making a profit from them. It's more of a hedging tool. They happen to comprise the biggest part of the market, commercial. And so when they make a shift week to week, that usually causes the following week to follow suit in the same direction of the shift, which is why we use that. Now, as far as a holistic perspective and the direction of an overall, like where's the market going next couple of weeks? Where is it going this month, next couple of months? That's what this is for. And that's data from the non-commercial, which is known as your large specs.
Hey traders, it's Steve from the future. I hope you have enjoyed this video so far. If you are getting value out of this video, be sure to hit the like button, click the subscribe button, and share your trading thoughts. I read all the comments, so feel free to ask any questions you have there too. On a side note, I host live trading calls like this one you are watching every day. Some of my biggest trading secrets I share exclusively to just the members in my program. I host these live trading calls every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I also host a basic training webinar every Monday for the newer traders and the regular COT report and sentiment trading webinars every Wednesday night at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern for the advanced and aspiring traders. All of these calls are recorded and promptly posted on the members' trading calendars at the conclusion of each call in case your schedule does not permit you to come to the live call. All of my members have complete access to the scanner. We call it Steve Scanner. This is an institutional grade trade alert scanner that picks the direction of the week on all 28 major currency pairs and includes trading instruments like gold, silver, NAS 100, US 30. Just in the last 90 days, I have made over 3,000 pips just taking the top trade signals from the scanner at the beginning of the week and then just holding those trade alerts until Friday. If you want access to the scanner, you can start a 14-day free trial with the join link in the description to get started. Lastly, if you really want to be a full-fledged VIP member of my program to get access to things like the basic training course, live signals channel, Steve Scanner, trading calendars, and the one-on-one calls with me throughout the month, you can use code Friend of Steve, that's Friend of Steve, no spaces, at checkout and save $50 on your first month. Again, just click the link in the description below and apply that coupon to become a VIP member, and I look forward to helping you with your inevitable trading success going forward. Now, back to the video.
So what's so cool about the scanner now is I feel like it comprises a shorter term signal, but also gives you a long-term sense of the market. So one of the things you can do is you can filter and then the other thing I was going to say is this has been updated too. So when you come into the scanner, you'll notice the overall signal. It used to just say signal, and I think that was just kind of confusing people. This is pretty important right here now. This is a lot more potent and powerful, this column where it says overall signal, because this is taken into effect many things. It takes into effect the shift for the week and how strong that was. Takes into effect the sentiment signal, the current sentiment signal, which can change throughout time, but that usually doesn't change a lot during a week, but could change. Takes into effect the current sentiment signal, and it also looks at the long-term signal and how strong that is, and that's as far as COT data goes. Which subsequently is tied to the crowded market indicator, which we'll talk about in just a moment. And so when you get this overall signal, these are pretty much your top picks. These are the ones where we're feeling really pretty good about the direction, not only for the week, but it aligns from a longer term perspective as well. And you've got sentiment support. So I think this has become a little bit more potent and more powerful this overall signal. So definitely look at these ones throughout the week for opportunities. Like, and we're going to do that today. Like, we're going to actually jump into the market. We're going to look for trade opportunities with these signals. So even though the shift may not be as big on some of these, like for example, the Euro Aussie, that's not a huge shift. It's a decent shift. It's worthy enough for a sell, but it's not it's not in the sevens or eights or 9, 10% shift range, but that's okay because it's got so much other, you've got a lot of other confirmation behind it. One that I really like right now that I've been building into is this Euro franc sell. This one looks really good. You got a sentiment sell signal, a long-term strong sell. Weekly shift is negative, which is great. So the weekly caught signal is also a sell. So the overall rating on that would be a strong sell, which is really good. But yeah, in fact, now if you pull up the weekly shift, not every weekly shift is going to qualify as a strong buy or a strong sell, even if the shift was really good, because now it's really the scanner is really trying to filter out. We don't want to, I guess what I'm saying is we don't want to rely on just one thing like the shift alone to get us into the direction of the week. Shift is very powerful. Sentiment's very powerful, and the long-term signal is very powerful. So we want to try to align ourselves with those with with all three different metrics, which is really cool. So it takes into account all those things and then decides if it's you know, a good buy or a sell. Okay, so let's talk about the crowded market indicator. This is really cool. This may be one of the coolest features on the scanner now. So I hope to use this a lot more often with you guys when we're looking for trade setups, both together and on your own when you're looking for trade setups. So crowded market, let's talk a little bit about this. We did have a webinar yesterday in the basic training that talks about the crowded market. And so let's discuss what the crowded market is. So basically, crowded market basically says, okay, we have this COT data. In fact, let's look at that data. I don't usually go in here, but let's go in here just to show you what it looks like. So this is actually the non-commercial data. So these are the large specs right here. Actually, it's both of these columns right here. Okay. And these are all the different currencies. And we've also included NAS 100 US 30, oil, gold, and silver. So everything's included right here. And basically what this is saying is, okay, when we get something that's super biased like the euro is the most bought up currency right now. Yeah, there's no other currency more bought by the big banks than the euro right now. So the euro's been going up naturally, right? If you pull up pretty much any euro pair, let's actually do that real quick. You pull up, here's the euro franc. Let's pull it up over like here, let's turn off this indicator. And if you pull it up over a longer period of time, it has been, well, I guess not necessarily a long period of time. I guess over the last month and a half, it's been going up. You look at the euro CAD, it's been going up pretty much since beginning of October, just up and up and up and up. The Euro Aussie, I believe, has been going up. Actually, it's been more sideways. Generally sideways, we'll say. Okay. Euro franc we looked at, Euro CAD, that's been going up. Let's look at like the Euro yen. Yeah, this one's been going up and up and up. So basically, this is driven by a lot of buying of the euro. Okay. So normally you want to follow the banks, right? So since the banks are buying the euro, you want to follow them. However, that's only half the story. You also want to look at things like what are they selling? So if you look at in the same column, you'll see things like the franc, which is not very bought up. Only 16% of their positions are long. The rest of them are short. You look at the CAD, same thing, very generally short on the CAD, very short Aussie. Look at the yen, very short yen. And when you pull up those pairs like the euro yen, you can see it's going up. And part of that is because you've got the banks buying lots of euro and they've been selling lots of yen. And so what's that going to do when you have that? Well, it's going to cause this to go up, right? Which is what has happened. It's been going up. Now, the thing is though, once they've already bought up these guys, they're in the business of making profits, right? So, and I'll put it even this way too, like if if you made this money since October, that's when they started this trade, or at least that's when it appears that they really started to buy into this down here, and then now they're up here. Wouldn't you want to take some of that profit before the end of the year? I think so, right? I don't even know. I don't know. I'm not saying that they're going to do that before the end of the year, but at some point, the point is you you got to take profits, right? And move on to a different trade. So what ends up happening is when they get to kind of a really big position on one side and a really small position on the other. Well, subsequently, really, so if you have a really big long position on one currency and then a really short position on the other currency, you no longer want to follow the banks. You actually want to um, look to go against them, right? This is a logic that isn't really taught. I didn't really teach this a long time ago, um, until now, really, until now. Well, I've taught it a few times. Like I've talked about crowded markets on like sentiment indexes and things like that. But um, you don't trends come to an end basically. You have this trend, you have this long-term trend, it's going up and up. Banks are buying it. They're selling your yen, which obviously is going to cause this pair to go up. So so what's the deal, right? Like what's the game plan? Well, at some point they got to take those profits, and when they start taking those profits, what's that going to do to the market? Well, it's going to send it lower, right? It's going to send it lower. And the COT data is actually not going to tell you that they're going to start doing that. That's the issue. If we're not applying that logic to COT data, we're going to miss the signal entirely, right? So I've designed the scanner and that crowded market indicator to let you know before it even happens or as it's happening. I guess it does both before it happens and as it's happening, that the banks are crowded into a um, profit taking scenario. They have no choice but to start taking profits and to start going the other direction. Um, and so when you get a 5 out of 10 stars, which there's actually several currency pairs like that right now, there's also several that are not. Like down here, you can see these are all 1 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars. I wouldn't focus on the ones, twos, threes, or even the fours, to be honest. I mean, maybe the fours, but you've got plenty of fives to focus. So I don't think you need to dip down into there. Um, but basically, if you have a 5 out of 10 stars, this is going to tell you if something's likely to reverse and go the other direction. So with this information, do you need to come in here and go against the signal? No, I've already programmed the signal, the long-term signal, to be aware of this beforehand. So as it's happening, the long-term signal will already be programmed to be like, hey, that we're at a phase where this is likely crowded market. And so I'm going to distribute a signal on the scanner that tells you to to, to start looking for reversals. But it's not, you don't have to look for a reversal like, oh, if it says short, then I go long. No, it's already programmed to tell you this is the direction you should go. And then what's so cool about that too is you can then combine the other indicators too to see if you can get other confirmation. If by chance sentiment aligns with that, that's awesome. If you can get the overall signal to align with that, even better. If you got the weekly shift data to align with the long-term COT signal, I think that's probably even the best. Um, and we have a few like that this week, like the Euro Aussie sell. That aligns. We're at crowded market phase, right? With the Euro Aussie, we have a strong sell. So it's already programmed to tell you that what this basically means is the market was going up for a while on the Euro Aussie, and the banks are now taking profits on their long positions. So now it's time to sell. That's what this is saying. So you don't need to do any kind of like, you don't need to do any of that logic in your head because it's already done for you on the scanner. I'm just telling you what it's doing in case you wanted to know what this is all about. I think that's a good thing to know. Even if you don't know the inner workings of the scanner, at least know what it's trying to communicate to you. Okay. So the Euro Aussie has this strong sell, and it's at crowded market phase, and you've got a shift that aligns with the reversal that's incoming. And that I actually think has done well so far. Like, oh yeah, nice, perfect. Yep. So this is down. Um, this has actually been down for the last couple of weeks now, but you can see, let's pull up that weekend indicator. Yeah, this is pretty much right from the get-go of this week so far. This Euro Aussie has been pulling down. Yeah, it's been pulling back. Um, that's a good one. Let me show you some others. So one that I'm working on right now, you may have seen it already. Um, um, oh, and by the way, let me answer some of these questions. So Lee says it looks like it's only 5 stars, not 10 stars. Yeah, so I changed this up. It only needs 5 stars. So it's just 1 out of 5, not 1 out of 10. Um, I mean, I might make it 1 out of 10. I think it's less, it doesn't clutter as much. You can see the full indicator if it's 1 out of 5. I might actually change it to 1 out of 10, or yeah, something like that. Um, I'll play with it just because I want to make sure it looks pretty good, aesthetic as well as very, um, as long as it needs to be aesthetic and it needs to work really well. Which it does. This is really, really good. So let's look at some of the, okay, and then yeah, so that's a great suggestion and question there. So it's just 1 out of 5. Yeah, so for nightly signals, Lee, and this actually answers part of the question for the other Lee. Um, are you filtering by overall signal for the nightly, daily trades? Yes, I would go by this. The cool thing about this that's going to help with a lot of the nightly signals is it's taking into account 3 or 4, it's actually four different indicators and that we've built. Um, and so if everything kind of lines up, it'll put you in that direction. Um, which is kind of nice because one of the issues you'd have with the overnight trades is if like you had a bad sentiment week, then you were reliant on sentiment only. If you had a week where you were struggling with the shift data, let's say the shift data just wasn't putting you in the right direction, then you only had shift data signals. But and then let's say you have a week where long-term data isn't doing very well, then you have that. So now what this does is it doesn't give too much power to one indicator. We kind of do that with our government, right? We have um, different branches of government that have checks and balances on each other, right? And so that's kind of nice that one party or one power can't be too powerful than the other. That's kind of at least the idea. They all have their say and they all have their things that they do that's really important, but it's not like one is more powerful than the other. That's kind of the general concept. And that's kind of what we've done here is, hey, we gotta look at sentiment because that's an important thing. We gotta look at the long-term signal. We gotta look at the shift in COT data. All those things matter. So can we get a signal that aligns with um, does everything line up basically is what we're trying to do. Um, and not everything will. So that's fine. We just need a few currency pairs to line up each week, and that can give us some really powerful signals. Yes. Yeah. You really like that. Everything is built into the signals. That way I won't get confused with taking the trade going in the opposite direction. Sentiment says buy, so I should get into sell. So the screen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like I said, nothing's going to be perfect, but I have quite a great deal of confidence that I've put into this because it has those checks and balances built in, and it's not just so reliant on one indicator or another. It because when you look at this, like the set shift this week, there's like 8 of these. Like there's 8 shifts, but overall signals, we just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually, it's interesting. Only one of those has a strong shift. The rest of it, it's like, hey, we're not going to let those through just because there's some other issues going on. So it's only going to let through what really makes sense. And then same thing with sentiment, like sentiment's going to have your signals, and some of these are going to make it through. Um, but it's only if everybody else at least somewhat agrees with it. So I think that's a very powerful thing. Um, okay, let's see. Yeah, Lee says provides less lag in the COT signal. That's right. Yeah, so that's what the crowded market indicators for is to alert us when something is about to reverse and banks are probably going to start taking profits, right? You'll notice on pretty much everything that has a crowded market signal, those currency pairs are um, have already had a big run up. Like the Euro CAD has had a big move run up. Euro yen, USD yen was going up for a while. Now it's starting to pull back. Um, what I like about this Euro franc, we'll actually talk about this one. Let's just do it now. What I like about this Euro franc is everything's a sell. I love it. So you got sentiment that's a sell signal. Long-term signals a strong sell. Shift is decent enough to give us a sell. And so obviously that's going to be an overall sell, a strong sell signal. The other thing I like about the Euro franc when we head over there is I like that this is actually um, kind of at a premium. Like the market hasn't pulled back a ton yet. It's still kind of at a higher price. The other thing that looks pretty good that I'm kind of excited about, we've got a lot of bearish price action built up in here. I've got this is what I would consider a head and shoulders pattern. So you've got, it's a little bit of a hunchback head and shoulders, but nonetheless, that's a head and shoulders pattern. You could even just go off of this one right here and make it more of a traditional head and shoulders. There you go. And then that's a bearish signal. You also have a double top going on right here. So you got a double top, head and shoulders. All looks really good. If we can break this little trend line right here on the Euro franc, I'm feeling really good about this sell this week. Um, I'm already selling it, but I'm looking to sell it even more. But this one is probably one that I feel the most confident about. I'll probably I think it's appropriate for me to make a post on this, just explaining my thoughts because um, the scanner came in pretty red hot for a sell here. There's really not much indicating a move up. And that's my game plan too, guys. Like you may have noticed, I've got a lot of sell limits in here. Basically, my game plan is to scale into it if it does go up again, because I do believe that if this market does go up, it's probably going to be met with a lot of selling pressure to send it right back down. I don't even know if we're going to get that move up. It may just go straight down. So that's why I've already entered into some sells, but um, I'm ready for it to go up nonetheless. So that looks really good. Um, V says, when looking for a nightly trade, how many columns should we be looking to align? I know not all columns is ideal, but if not all columns align, that's okay. Um, so I would put primary precedence on the overall signal because that column is is taking the accumulation of all the signals. It knows that column knows if there's like, for example, right here on the like this Euro Aussie, sentiment still has a buy, but the long-term signal is a strong sell and the weekly shift is a sell. So it looks at this and says, you know what? I know sentiments like that, but based off of all the metrics and how strong these signals are, this is still considered a strong sell. But it may look at something um, okay, so here's this Euro CAD. It's only just a sell signal. It doesn't really have a weekly shift signal, so nothing there. But your long-term signal is a strong sell. The crowded market indicator is a 5 out of 5. But it does have a buy signal on the sentiment. So it looks at that and says, you know what? I think this is more of a sell signal, not so much a strong sell, but we'll call it a sell, which is super awesome. So like I said, it kind of looks at everything decides. You've got plenty of neutrals too, which is fine. Like you'll notice a lot of overall signals this week, plenty of signals that have nothing, currency pairs that have no signal. I mean, you'll notice some of these, like the euro pound, it does have a long-term signal as a buy, but there's no sentiment or shift signal this week on those two. And so it's just like, you know what? There's just nothing there. Like it's not enough to say buy or sell. So we're just going to leave it. Nothing's really firing up. Um, and then you've got these down here. Like for example, this CAD yen is a buy this week, but it's just a buy rating, even though this shift data is a strong buy. We don't have a overall long-term bias from the banks on that pair. So we do have a sentiment that's a buy. We do have a shift that's a buy, strong buy, and the overall signal is a buy, but it's just nothing like strong enough where we're like, that's definitely something we'd feel really good about. Lee says, are each of the other columns weighted to determine the overall? Yeah, so I've programmed it so that they are weighted based off of their strength, if that's what you're asking. So sentiment, long-term signal, the crowded market, the weekly shift, it's weighted to determine, it looks at, is this a neutral? Is this a buy? Is this a sell? Is this a strong buy or strong sell? And then it says, okay, with this information and with all this information we have, and the strength of each one, what would be the overall signal be? And then to further answer your question, you say which signal is more important. So it actually does weight. I'll put it this way. So this is so cool. This is why this thing is so powerful. Like we do put a little bit more confidence on the crowded market. So if you get to crowded market stage, there is a little bit more weight that goes in there because it's a leading indicator. It's No one cares about a signal if it doesn't tell you what it's going to do next, right? No one cares about a signal if it's telling you what's already happened, right? So we're putting a little bit more weight on currency pairs that reach crowded market stage just because that's an indicator that's going to tell you if something's about to occur or something that hasn't happened yet that may happen or that should happen. Um, And so there's a little bit more weight that goes into that because it's a leading indicator. And that's what makes a scanner great. That's what makes a signal service great, is something that tells you what's going to happen before it's even happened. So to answer your question, yeah, there is a little bit more weight that goes into that. Because if you think about it, sentiment is an important indicator as far as following a trend, but it's not a very helpful indicator if you're trying to find a trend change. So we do regard sentiment because it is powerful, but when a trend change is coming in, we don't look at sentiment as aggressively. Okay, so there's weight to that, if that makes sense. So that's a great question.
Hey traders, it's Steve from the future. I hope you have enjoyed this video so far. If you are getting value out of this video, be sure to hit the like button, click the subscribe button, and share your trading thoughts. I read all the comments, so feel free to ask any questions you have there too. On a side note, I host live trading calls like this one you are watching every day. Some of my biggest trading secrets I share exclusively to just the members in my program. I host these live trading calls every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I also host a basic training webinar every Monday for the newer traders and the regular COT report and sentiment trading webinars every Wednesday night at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern for the advanced and aspiring traders. All of these calls are recorded and promptly posted on the members' trading calendars at the conclusion of each call in case your schedule does not permit you to come to the live call. All of my members have complete access to the scanner. We call it Steve Scanner. This is an institutional grade trade alert scanner that picks the direction of the week on all 28 major currency pairs and includes trading instruments like gold, silver, NAS 100, US 30. Just in the last 90 days, I have made over 3,000 pips just taking the top trade signals from the scanner at the beginning of the week and then just holding those trade alerts until Friday. If you want access to the scanner, you can start a 14-day free trial with the join link in the description to get started. Lastly, if you really want to be a full-fledged VIP member of my program to get access to things like the basic training course, live signals channel, Steve's scanner, trading calendars, and the one-on-one calls with me throughout the month, you can use code friend of Steve, that's friend of Steve, no spaces, at checkout and save $50 on your first month. Again, just click the link in the description below and apply that coupon to become a VIP member, and I look forward to helping you with your inevitable trading success going forward. Now, back to the video.
Yeah, Lee. So there's a good recording about the overnight trading strategy. Yeah, so we've got some videos you can watch. If you go back and watch the last sentiment webinar we did, which was 2 weeks ago, it was on the, I believe it was on the 15th, November 15th. That would be a good video to go watch to learn that strategy. Awesome. Okay, cool. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So let's actually spend some more time in the charts here. I do want to try to find some opportunities. Like I said, this is kind of one of my big ones on this Euro franc that I'm feeling really good about. I'll probably make a separate post just explaining my thoughts on this setup. You can either sell this now, or another way to do this is if we do get a move up this week, I would love to sell at either this level or this level up here. So what I might end up doing is place a signal with you guys, but I want to see if there's an order block. Yeah, there's a couple of order blocks up here I was eyeing. Like we haven't tapped into this block right here. We haven't tapped into this one, so I was hoping to get a sell right up in there. And then with Sonar Lab, oh yep, so about both of them have a sell right there, or both have order blocks right there. So I'd love to jump into a sell somewhere around here with you guys if we can get it, and then just ride that down. That would be a great trade to take. Matches everything. Sentiment, shift of the week, matches long-term signal, crowded market, everything. This is just one of those that's just really, really good. So I'll probably post that trade. I've got a lot of stuff on my chart, so I'll need to do it on a chart that doesn't have, I'll need to do it on a chart that doesn't have so much stuff on it so that you guys can see the signal a little bit better. I'll post that right after the webinar to sell the Euro franc, and then I'll talk about my other thoughts behind it, why that's a good trade. And then let's look at some of these others. Let's see what else is looking pretty good. Yeah, so the USD franc is actually a good one for a sell this week. You've got a sentiment sell signal. The crowded market is indicating that a strong sell is underway. The weekly shift was negative, actually. However, the only issue is that it wasn't that negative, right? Otherwise, nonetheless, with all of these factors, it's still a pretty good sell signal. So the USD franc's actually not a bad one as well. And this has been coming down. Wow, dang. Now I'm really mad I didn't take more positions here. This one's been coming down big time from the start of the week. It does have more to go. It looks like there's demand down here that we haven't tapped into yet. So, maybe we try to get the market down into there. But yeah, this is one of those that's just really, really good on the scanner. Another good one would be, let's see, what do I have? Actually, this pound yen is not going to be a bad one to buy this week. This is basically a trend trade. We're not at crowded market phase on this one. It's just, we're just trying to follow the banks, which is to buy the pound yen. So buying the pound yen this week is actually not a bad move. not a bad move this week. And we're already doing that. It's just unfortunate we had a little pullback in the last hour or so. Um, but I would look for buy opportunities on this one. Look for, right here, nice demand zone. That would be a great place to buy this week. So that might even be worth just placing a trade too, just putting a little order right there to buy if it dips into that zone. I probably will do that too. I might just post a couple of pending orders that we can just let sit, just leave them in your trading account. So that would be a good one. And then let's see what else. Those are pretty much your strong ones. I didn't look at the Aussie dollar. Maybe we'll look at that one real quick. This one is at a crowded market phase, and it is a strong buy. Um, and dang it, I missed this one last night. I knew I should have bought this one. It's okay. This one was really good, and it's still good. It's a strong buy for the week, and I was kind of intrigued by it. Let me explain why. So this one was already going up over the last, you know, the hourly time frame. This thing was going up for the last little while. And I was like, wait, the banks, they have this big short position that they're trying to get out of. So the banks actually have a short position right now. I don't know if I explained that very well, but basically the banks on this one were shorting. They started taking their profits down here, and they still have been taking profits. So as this thing's been coming up, they've been getting out frantically trying to get out of this because they know it's going up. That's basically what this signal is saying, because it is indeed a crowded market signal, which I thought was interesting because normally these line up when they're down here, which it probably did. It probably was a buy signal down here a couple of weeks ago, but it's still a strong buy, which means that the banks have exited, or they're exiting as we speak, their short position and are subsequently going long. And as that's happening, it's just sending the market higher and higher and higher. This one will probably continue up until we get up into these supply areas right here. So there's still more to go for the rest of the week on this Aussie dollar. I would expect that one to continue up. But this is super nice. Like, this is filtered pretty much all the, like, we've pretty much everything in the overall signal is winning right now. Yeah, Euro Aussie sell, Euro franc sell, USD franc sell, that one especially. Aussie dollar buy, that one also especially doing well. Pound yen buy being stout right now. That's kind of nice to just kind of filter that out for the week. Again, please use this as a general weekly signal. Like, I don't want you guys coming in here and just putting all your putting all your money on just one trade for a single day. I mean, feel free to take those day trades with it, those overnight trades, that overnight strategy. That's totally fine. But don't have expectations that are just okay. If this works for a day, I'm done. This is definitely still a weekly signal. So continue to treat it as such. Okay, let's see what else. What else do we need to cover? Okay, so what I will do, just because I need to clean up my charts a little bit, but what I will do is I will post a signal. I actually might even post a signal on this Aussie dollar too, because I like it so much. There actually could be a nice dip buy entry right here. So I might do this one. For sure, I'm going to place a trade, and I'm going to post a signal on the Euro franc this afternoon. Um, I'm hoping to get into a sell somewhere up in here this week. So it's just, these are all going to be pending orders. So just put those pending orders in your trading account if you want to take them with me. Um, and then just leave them alone, and we'll see if they can trigger. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I'll get those posted, and feel free to text me or call me or send me an email if you guys have questions. I've got several one-on-ones with some of you lined up today, so I'm excited for that. But have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you guys in the next webinar. Thanks for coming.